Descendant, number 17 here. I'll be assisting you on this operation. Good luck. Enemy structure operational. Initiating full-scale blocking operation.
Reload.
High-level enemy identified. Designating as top priority target. Please eliminate.
Well, shit. Let's go.
You're here. I thought you'd be late. We've got a few things to do. We need to hurry.
Talk to me. We've received operation details. The Ironheart pulse has supposedly been detected in this area, but it's impossible to triangulate since it's dispersed in several directions.
That's correct, Clay. I can feel it clearly, but it's hard for me to pinpoint its exact position. However, I can confirm it is in this zone.
We were deployed here to find one thing, and now we also have to find the Ironheart. We'll have to look under every rock in Vespers.
Freyna and I were sent here to look for a group of Vulgus, who have stolen RK serum from Jaber and some other descendants. Freyna, Sharon, even I've already had my RK serum stolen by them once. Things will only get worse if we let them take any more of it.
Those bastards. They satisfy their own desires by taking everything we humans have. They have to be stopped.
If the Ironheart is underground, then it makes sense that we're detecting the pulse in multiple locations. Not only is 55% of the surface of Vespers composed of slickenside, but this zone has a high distribution of strange-looking rocks. It's also one of the few zones where there are Ancestors' ruins on the surface, and most of the Ancestors' ruins are built out of slickenside. That's why it's difficult to pinpoint the exact point of origin of the pulses. The characteristics of slickenside make it easier for pulses to pass through it, which means there's a higher probability of pulses being detected simultaneously from multiple directions.
When I analyze the strata, there are spaces that feel empty to me. They are most likely where the Ancestors' ruins can be found. All entrances to these spaces emit pulses of similar intensity. However, you will need to confirm in person whether these places are the correct paths to lead us to the Ironheart.
In that case, we'll need to check all the places detected by the guide.
All right, let's spread out.
Freyna, I understand there are specialized drones that Albion has created to find the Ironheart.
That's correct. Enzo's sending the drones here shortly.
That is excellent news. Let's begin our search for the Ironheart in earnest.
Damn it. A high-level enemy has been detected. Prepare for engagement.
Danger assessment, normal. Defeating the Vulgus will force the enemy to retreat.
Enemy forces within the operation zone have been eliminated. Great job.
Spotted. Danger assessment, normal. Defeating this Vulgus will force the enemy to retreat.
Enemy forces within the operation zone have been eliminated. Great job.
This is Glay. I've found something. Meet me at the ruins outpost.
biotechnology researcher. You can call me Kate. Don't worry, I don't need anything special. I'm looking for samples from Order of Truth units. The good thing about the Order is that they have a high composition of organic matter, so it makes it easy to track biosamples. We might even be able to get data that could help us with tracking the Ironheart. If you would, I need you to help me collect biosamples from the Order of Truth. Although it pains me to say this as a bioengineer, we need to ignore ethics around how you collect samples from the bodies. Basically, eliminate them first, then collect the samples. Simple, right?
Commence loading.
Descendant, an interrupter is trying to take... No! It's trying to steal the samples you collected. Destroy the interrupter!
Reloading. Shield him down.
There's another interrupter. Protect the samples.
Well, shit.
Sick of these interrupters. But you're almost done. Hang in there just a little longer.
Reload.
Descendant. I'm Catherine Hill, a biotechnology researcher. You can call me Kate. Don't worry, I don't need anything special. I'm looking for samples from Order of Truth units. The good thing about the Order is that they have a high composition of organic matter, so it makes it easy to track biosamples. We might even be able to get data that could help us with tracking the Ironheart. If you could, I need you to help me collect biosamples from the Order of Truth. Although it pains me to say this as a bioengineer, we need to ignore ethics around how you collect samples from the Order. Basically, eliminate them first, then collect the samples. Simple, right? Steal the samples you collected. Destroy the interrupter. Protect the samples. Interrupters. But you're almost done. Hang in there just a little longer. there, Descendant. I'm Catherine Hill, a biotechnology researcher. You can call me Kate. Don't worry, I don't need anything special. I'm looking for samples from Order of Truth units. The good thing about the Order is that they have a high composition of organic matter, so it makes it easy to track biosamples. We might even be able to get data that could help us with tracking the Ironheart. If you could, I need you to help me collect biosamples from the Order of Truth. Although it pains me to say this as a bioengineer, we need to ignore ethics around how you collect samples from the bodies. Basically, eliminate them first, then collect the samples. Simple, right? Descendant, an interrupter is trying to take... No! It's trying to steal the samples you collected. Destroy the interrupter! Share the details with you.
The scan drone has been successfully transferred. If you approach it, it will recognize your receive and activate scanning operations.
Descendant, I was able to connect with the scan drone through your receive. I will analyze the geological data that has been collected and narrow the range of potential entrances.
Commence loading.
Data acquisition at 100%. Connection to the drone has been severed. Reanalyzing the collected data.
Talk to me. This place has been mentioned in records throughout history. And as the name suggests, these are the ruins. Turns out this is where the greatest recorded number of ancestors gathered. Investigation by the excavation team and analysis by the magisters uncovered records mentioning the breakout of civil war. The ruins are evidence. Remnants of this war.
Given the Iron Heart is here, that may have been past or present.
This is the first. The Iron Heart.
Glay,
Sounds like I have so...
Enzo here. I've been able to expand my range to the vicinity of the ruins thanks to the data acquired by the drones and the guide. Transmitting surface analysis information and intel on potential entrances to Aceves.
That's not far from my current position. I'll go.
Glay, I'll go. That's where the bastards from the Order of Truth have settled. I'm the only one who can withstand the toxins they use.
I'll leave it to you then.
HQ will continue to monitor the situation. Should anything happen to Freyna, report immediately. Enemy reinforcements spotted. There's too many blind spots. Get to the top of structures and engage them from there.
Reload.
Another wave of enemy forces is inbound. Watch out.
Descendant. They aim to prevent you from reaching the entrance. Exercise caution when engaging them in combat.
All enemy forces have been eliminated. Excellent job.
Hey, Descendant. I heard Volga's electrical equipment is obstructing the search operation. Volga's generators emit powerful static. That's probably what's getting in the way. There is a solution, of course. I'll tell you when I spot a unit which has a high voltage fuse. Then you just need to blow the circuits using the fuses. Unit with a fuse identified. Take it out.
This.
Second fuse reaction confirmed. All right, let's keep it rolling.
Loading. Reload.
How has it spread this far? I'm guessing the infection rate at the entrance has increased. The bacteria reproduces at an incredibly fast rate, and it's extremely viscous. So it's almost impossible to get rid of. The target has been eliminated, but we need to look for another entrance. We won't be able to use that one anymore. This is Glay to HQ in Freyna.
The enemy has made the entrance discovered at the ruins currently inaccessible. Reyna, what's the situation on your side?
It's not inaccessible, but I'm worried about how the Order's toxins might affect you.
Looking at Freyna's route, I can detect large quick pulses occurring at the place marked as the entrance.
That means there's a high chance this entrance is connected to the Ancestors' ruins. Let's regroup and go together.
How has it spread this far? I'm guessing the infection rate at the entrance has increased. The bacteria reproduces at an incredibly fast rate, and it's extremely viscous, so it's almost impossible to get rid of. The target has been eliminated, but we need to look for another entrance. We won't be able to use that one anymore.
What's going on? You're here. It's a good thing I took this side. Neither you nor Glay would have lasted. Let's go find this entrance. Ugh, I thought I crushed the Order. They've just
Freyna,
We don't have an...
All right. Hey, Kate. Can you hear me?
Huh? Freyna? Yes, I hear you. What's happening? Anything I can help you with?
I overheard your comms with Glay. You're doing something with the fungus, right? If we collect enough fungi, will you be able to make an antidote or antibody that gives us immunity?
Of course. Although it may take some time, it's not impossible.
Great idea. Kate, if you have any questions during production, get in touch right away. And remember to be methodical. You make mistakes when you're rushing.
Wait, that was over 5 years ago. I'm not the same person I was back then.
Our objective is to secure as much fungi as possible. Let's hurry. If we have an antidote or antibodies that give us immunity, the mission will become much easier.
In order to quickly produce immunity antibodies, we need data on the antidote mechanism, stored in Albion. After comparing the data we have with Albion's existing data, we can either imitate it or create something similar. But since we need the data to be transferred safely, we need you to protect it.
Pretty cool, yeah? Commence loading.
Some bastard's been tapping our communications. If the repeater is destroyed, things are gonna get very difficult for us.
Good job. The data transfer has been completed. All we need to do now is wait.
Commence loading. Pretty cool, yeah?
Some bastard's been tapping our communications. If the repeater is destroyed, things are gonna get very difficult for us.
Commence loading. Loading. Reload.
Good job. The data transfer has been completed. All we need to do now is wait. Using the material you gathered, I've made an antibody that gives immunity from the Order's most commonly used toxin. But because of time constraints, I haven't been able to conduct any formal clinical trials.
So we're the guinea pigs.
Glay, I don't think we should joke about it.
You sound just like Jin. Adorable.
I heard you worked on my arcane neutralizer.
You can trust me.
What did you just say, Kate? Do you know how dangerous that was?
Glay, I'm also part of Albion Head. The Descendant.
Lighten up, Glay. Thanks to Kate's efforts, we can continue with the operation.
Glay, this antibody will help you to stay strong for this operation. After all, it will give you immunity, and I've tested it on myself.
We'll let it go this one time. But never again, you hear me? Okay. Thank you, Kate. Really. Now that everybody has the antibody, let's go get that Iron Heart. We can't let the Vulgus take this one, too.
If everyone is ready, I will lead the way. Let us find the Iron Heart.
Guide, can you sense the waves emitted from the Iron Heart?
I can. However, my scan showed there is a space deep beneath this area. The energy waves are being dispersed by a metal device installed by the enemy. It will be difficult to determine the exact location of the Iron Heart.
Damn it! Not only did they spread their toxins everywhere, they installed this as well.
They most likely intended to use it to transport the Iron Heart they found.
Analyzing layout of the ruins. RK covers 40% of the entire area. A point of note, the RK corresponds to a single pattern, unlike the patterns of Descendant. According to the layout analysis results, The location of these readings is identical to that used for tombs and altars. If I compile all of the data we have gathered, there is a high probability that this is the tomb of one of the ancestors who died during the Civil War. The fact that they were laid to rest in such a deep location, either they were an ancestor of a high status, or they played an important role in the incidents related to the Iron Heart. I've identified a Vulgus communications frequency being transmitted nearby. It will likely contain information we need. We should investigate. The Iron Heart isn't here. The Vulgus came to excavate the remains of the ancestors. They plan to use this to open the ancestors' vault.
I don't understand. The remains of an ancestor or a vault? What do you mean?
If the vault contains an Iron Heart, it may have been placed there intentionally to prevent someone from claiming it. The reason the Vulgus have extracted DNA from the remains is likely because the vault can only be accessed through a bioscan.
If that's the case, then the occupant of this tomb is the same individual who locked the vault.
That's correct. They must be planning to use the DNA to allow them to bypass the biometric authentication and claim the Iron Heart.
This device interferes with the sieve links. I'll restore the disrupted communications. Noise removal complete. Checking content. Sender, Enzo. He says the Vulgus have been spotted moving to another zone.
Have they found a way to open the vault already? Damn it! We need to get to that vault.
Wait. We should secure the ancestors' remains and the data just in case. If the vault can only be accessed through the biometric authentication of specific DNA, then we'll need that DNA as well.
I have disabled the Vulgus data repository for now. I have also collected the data formatted sample of the remains.
Well, that's a relief. I can't stand it when things go according to Vulgus plans. Let's deal with these bastards quickly and get moving.
Oh, how the weak struggle to find their purpose. Humans truly are foolish and arrogant. Have you not yet learned that you are merely sacrificial offerings for us? Consider this an honor. Your flesh and blood will be offered for their glory.
This is Alpha. Comms have been stabilized. All units return to Albion to prepare for the next operation.
Just get to the point.
We've confirmed the transmitted data. We can use this to our advantage. Enzo, send the sample of the ancestors' We need to analyze the DNA and activate the biometric And to do that, I'll send any...
Jeez, why am I being called in? I thought I'd be getting some R&R. Making me work with crazies thinking they see a ghost. Nah, I've got other things to do.
Jeremy, there's an Ironheart in this zone. Have you forgotten that finding the Ironheart is the #1 priority for all Descendants? Also, since you've been assigned to a mission, you should conduct yourself properly. Continue to be uncooperative, and I will report you to your superiors.
An Ironheart? Oh, man, why didn't you say so from the start?